This video is designed to help you start a fashion design business. At the end of the video, you'll find a valuable gift. It's a fashion design business plan that you can download, and will lay down for you, step by step, everything you need to know to start a successful fashion design business of your own. If you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Create a business plan. Remember the expression, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail? That definitely holds true when starting a fashion design business. Before getting started, take some time to visualize the end goal of your business. What do you want to accomplish? What kind of stores do you want to sell to? What customers will go shopping at your clothing business? Knowing this information is important when you start a fashion design business because it will guide all your later business decisions about design, branding, textiles, and production. It'll also help you in making your business proposal when you start expanding and looking for retailers and distributors. Not only do you need to create a business plan for your line of clothing, but you also need to go back and reference that business plan frequently as you go through these other steps. Remember to include all the components of a good business plan. Executive summary. This includes key information about the name of your business, your mission, goals, and values. Company overview. Here you give a brief history of your clothing company and outline what the line does. Product and services. Explain what your clothing line is going to offer and how you plan to make a profit. Marketing strategies. You will need to give a detailed analysis of your target customers, demographics, business trends, customer segmentation, etc. Sales strategy. How are you actually going to sell your products for your line of clothing? What channels will you use? How will pricing affect your sales strategy? Competitive analysis. Include a description of all potential competitors with your line of clothing, direct and indirect. Production plan. Here you will provide a timeline for the production, marketing, and sales of your clothing. Operation plan. What are the functions of different stakeholders in your line of clothing? Who will take care of business tasks, design, and production? This part of the business plan details the daily working of your clothing company, and who does what. Financial analysis and projections. This is where you analyze the budget for your line of clothing, noting what you'll need for an initial investment in your business, how you will use that investment, and the timeline for generating income. While it may seem like you have to do a lot of paperwork when you start a clothing line, spending time on your business plan now will save you lots of time and aggravation on your line of clothing later on. Research fashion trends or needs. When you start a fashion design business, you will want to remain true to your brand in spite of changing fashion trends. However, you have to know the rules before you can break them. Go to some fashion shows and take note of prevailing colors, shapes, and themes. If you go to a few different fashion shows, notice any trend that seems to repeat throughout all of them. While these fashions may take a while to trickle down to your target market in their daily shopping, fashion shows are a good way to stay on top of what may be coming down the pike. Paying attention to influencers and what they're wearing is another way to know what is trending, and worth pursuing. Keep in mind that any trends you notice may need to be adapted to your target market. If you are planning to sell trendy and attractive maternity clothes with your line of clothing, for example, you will need to think about how a particular trend can be adapted to flatter a pregnant body. Develop your fashion branding. If your clothing line is going to be successful, it's essential to figure out how your brand is going to stand out from others. Remember that the most successful clothing lines hone in on a very specific market, where there might be a demand. Instead of baby clothes, you might consider narrowing it down to eco-friendly baby clothing, for your line of clothing. Instead of activewear, you might focus on comfortable activewear for plus-size women. Here are the things you need to think about when developing your fashion brand. Niche. Here is where you get really specific in defining your niche market, determining exactly which customers your line of clothing is going to appeal to within a larger market. Design. How are you going to get your clothing to look attractive to your target market? Think about the pattern, material, colors, and fit. Quality. Decide what steps are necessary to ensure you can stand by the quality of your clothing brand. No one wants to charge their credit card for clothing that shrinks in the wash, or falls apart after a few wearings. Brand. How will you market and package your brand? Consider how your brand will get represented in your target market. As you develop your brand, stay focused on differentiation. Remember that the clothing market is saturated with products across every niche. Think about how your clothing will stand out when someone is shopping for it. You could also make this happen by printing funny slogans on it, creating a fit that's more flattering to a particular group, or formulating a relatable brand story. Find inspiration from others. Whatever else happens when you start a clothing line, Make sure your creative inspiration never runs dry. Get connected with the social media accounts of fashion influencers, so you'll always know what they're up to. Visit the brick-and-mortar establishments of popular designers. Newsletters, magazines, and podcasts about fashion are also great ways to get inspired for your line of clothing. And you can always check out fashion blogs and websites. The next part of the video is not specific to a fashion design business. Nevertheless, this knowledge is essential for success in the fashion design business, as well as in any other business. Ignore it at your own peril. Operating a successful fashion design business will depend on the following 4 conventions. 1. A practical plan, with a solid foundation. 2. Dedication, and willingness to sacrifice, to reach your goal. 3. Technical skills. 4. Basic knowledge of management, finance, record keeping and market analysis. As a new owner, you will need to master these skills and techniques if your business is to be successful. Finding a niche. Small businesses range in size from a manufacturer, with many employees, and millions of dollars in equipment, to the lone window washer, with a bucket and a sponge. Obviously, the knowledge and skills, required for these two extremes, are far apart, but for success they have one thing in common. Each has found a business niche, and is filling it. The most critical problems you will face, in your early planning, will be to find your niche, and determine the feasibility of your idea. Get into the right business at the right time, is very good advice, but following that advice, may be difficult. Many entrepreneurs plunge into a business venture, so blinded by the dream, that they fail to thoroughly evaluate its potential. Is your business idea feasible? Before you invest time, effort, and money, the following exercise will help you separate sound ideas from those bearing a high potential for failure. Identify and briefly describe the business you plan to start. Identify the product or service you plan to sell. Answering yes to any of the following 3 questions means you are on the right track. A negative answer to all of them means the road ahead could be rough. 1. Does your product or service satisfy an unfilled need? 2. Will your product or service serve an existing market in which demand exceeds supply? 3. Will your product or service be competitive based on its quality, selection, price, or location? Market analysis. For a small business to be successful, the owner must know the market. To learn the market, you must analyze it, a process that takes time and effort. You don't have to be a trained statistician to analyze the marketplace, nor does the analysis have to be costly. Analyzing the market is a way to gather facts about potential customers, and to determine the demand for your product or service. The more information you gather, the greater your chances of capturing a segment of the market. Know the market before investing your time and money in any business venture. The following questions will help you collect the information necessary to analyze your market, and determine if your product or service will sell. This brief exercise will give you a good idea of the kind of market planning you need to do. An answer of no to any of the questions indicates a weakness in your plan, so do your research until you can answer each question with a yes. 1. Do you know who your customers will be? 2. Do you understand their needs and desires? 3. Do you know where they live? 4. Will you be offering the kind of products or services that they will buy? 5. Will your prices be competitive in quality and value? 6. Will your promotional program be effective? 7. Do you understand how your business compares with your competitors? 8. Will your business be conveniently located for the people you plan to serve? 9. Will there be adequate parking facilities for the people you plan to serve? Planning your startup. The following questions are grouped according to function. They are designed to help you prepare for opening day. Merchandise. Have you decided what items you will sell or produce, or what services you will provide? Have you made a merchandise plan, based upon estimated sales, to determine the amount of inventory you will need to control purchases? Have you found reliable suppliers, who will assist you in the startup? Have you compared the prices, quality, and credit terms of suppliers? Business records. Are you prepared to maintain complete records of sales, income and expenses, accounts payable, and receivables? Have you determined how to handle payroll records, tax reports, and payments? Do you know what financial reports should be prepared, and how to prepare them? Finances. A large number of small businesses fail each year. There are a number of reasons for these failures, but one of the main reasons is insufficient funds. Too many entrepreneurs Try to start and operate a business without sufficient capital, money. To avoid this dilemma, you can review your situation by analyzing the following 3 questions. 1. How much money do you have? 2. How much money will you need to start your business? 3. How much money will you need to stay in business? In order to answer the second question, how much money will you need to start your business? You need to prepare an estimate of all your startup costs. Here is a list of items you may need to take into account. Note that this list is for a retail business. Items will vary for service, construction, manufacturing or online firms. Decorating and remodeling, fixtures and equipment, installing fixtures and equipment, services and supplies, beginning inventory cost, legal, professional fees, licenses and permits, telephone utility deposits, insurance, signs, advertising for opening, unanticipated expenses. Now, the answer to the third question, how much money will you need to stay in business? Must be divided into 2 parts, immediate costs, and future costs. From the moment the door to your new business opens, a certain amount of income may come in. However, this income should not be projected in your operating expenses. You will need enough money available to cover costs for at least the first 3 months of operation. The following list will help you project your operating expenses on a monthly basis. Typical expenses for 1 month may include your living costs, employee wages, rent, advertising, supplies, utilities, insurance, taxes, maintenance, delivery, transportation, miscellaneous. Now sum up the total estimated monthly expenses and multiply it by 3. This is the amount of cash you will need to cover operating expenses for 3 months. Deposit this amount in a savings account before opening your business. Use it only for those purposes listed in the above list, because this money will ensure that you will be able to continue in business during the crucial early stages. By adding the total startup costs to the total expenses for 3 months, you can learn what the estimated costs will be to start and operate your business for 3 months. By subtracting the totals of the lists from the cash available, you can determine the amount of additional financing you may need, if any. Now you will need to estimate your operating expenses for the first year after startup. The first step in determining your annual expenses is to estimate your sales volume, month by month. Next, determine the cost of sales. You may want to use a spreadsheet to do this. After startup, the primary source of revenue in your business will be from sales, but your sales will vary from month to month because of seasonal patterns and other factors. It is important to determine if your monthly sales will produce enough income to pay each month's bills. An estimated cash flow projection will show if the monthly cash balance is going to be subject to such factors as the following: failure to recognize seasonal trends, excessive cash taken from the business for living expenses, too rapid expansion, and slow collection of accounts if credit is extended to customers. Conclusion: if you have carefully answered all the questions in this video, you have seriously thought about your goal. However, there may be some things you may feel you need to know more about. Owning and running a fashion design business is a continuous learning process. Research your idea, and do as much as you can, yourself, but don't hesitate to seek help from people who can tell you what you need to know. As we conclude this video, it's time you get your free fashion design business plan gift. Go to the description below this video to get it now. It is completely free, no strings attached. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this.